Before this story begins, let me ask you something. Have you ever judged someone in a single second and later wished you could take it back? Because what you're about to hear is one of those moments that changes lives forever. And if stories that touch your heart, open your eyes, and remind you of the power of kindness matter to you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us share more stories like this, and you never know which one might change your life next. I'll translate it for $500, the boy said quietly. The room froze for half a second, and then the millionaire laughed. Not a polite laugh, not a surprised one, a sharp, dismissive laugh that echoed across the marble floors of the private auction hall. People turned to look, some smiled awkwardly, others shook their heads. The boy stood there, thin jacket, worn shoes, eyes steady but tired. He couldn't have been more than 13. And yet, something about the way he said it carried weight, as if he wasn't joking, wasn't begging, and certainly wasn't ashamed. The millionaire, Victor Hale, wiped a tear of amusement from his eye. He was used to being admired, feared, envied. A self-made tech mogul, famous for buying rare artifacts and impossible deals, Victor had heard every pitch imaginable. But a boy asking $500 to translate an old handwritten letter? That was new. Kid, Victor said, still smiling, I can hire the best translators in the world for less than that. What makes you so special? The boy didn't answer right away. He looked at the letter lying on the table between them, yellowed with age, written in a language few still spoke fluently. Because, he said finally, they'll translate the words. I'll translate the truth. That earned a few murmurs. The auctioneer shifted uncomfortably. Victor raised an eyebrow, amused but intrigued despite himself. All right, he said, waving a hand. Entertain me. You have 1 minute. The boy nodded. His name was Eli. He picked up the letter carefully, like it might crumble if handled roughly. As he began to read, his voice changed. It wasn't loud, but it carried. He didn't just convert words from one language to another. He explained meanings, cultural weight, emotions hidden between the lines. He paused where the writer had hesitated. He softened where grief had been buried. And slowly, the room grew quiet. The letter wasn't a business contract, as Victor had assumed. It was a confession, written by a man who had once owned the land where Victor's first company headquarters stood. A man who had lost everything due to a legal loophole Victor's firm had exploited decades earlier. The letter spoke of a son taken by illness, a wife who never recovered, and a final plea that whoever read these words would remember that progress without mercy leaves ruins behind. Victor's smile faded. His laughter felt distant now, almost embarrassing. He had read summaries of the land acquisition, sure. Lawyers had handled it, numbers had made sense. But this was different. The boy continued, translating not just language, but pain. When he finished, the room felt heavier, like everyone had inhaled grief together and forgotten how to exhale. Silence stretched. Victor cleared his throat. Where did you learn to translate like that? He asked, his voice lower now. My grandmother, Eli said. She taught me before she passed. That man who wrote the letter, he was her father. A ripple of shock moved through the room. Victor stared at the boy, really seeing him for the first time. Then why $500? He asked quietly. Eli hesitated. My sister needs surgery, he said. I've been translating documents wherever I can. People usually pay me $20. Sometimes, nothing. But this letter, this one mattered. Victor looked down at the letter again. For the first time in years, he felt something crack inside him. He had 1,000 justifications ready, legal approvals, market necessity, shareholder pressure, but none of them fit in the space the boy's words had opened. He reached into his jacket, pulled out his checkbook, and wrote a number far larger than 500. Eli's eyes widened, and for a moment, he looked like a child again. This is too much, he whispered. Victor shook his head. No, he said, it's not enough, but it's a start. The story didn't end there. Victor funded the surgery. He set up a scholarship in the family's name. He even returned the land, converting it into a community center. But what changed him most wasn't the money he gave, it was the way he listened after that day. He stopped laughing so quickly. He started asking questions. He learned that translation isn't about language alone. It's about understanding lives you've never lived. Eli went on to become a linguist, then a mediator, helping companies and communities speak to each other before damage was done. And every time he told this story, he remembered the moment a millionaire laughed, and how the truth, gently spoken, can silence even the loudest room. So if you've ever felt small, overlooked, or underestimated, remember this: your voice may be carrying a truth someone desperately needs to hear. And if this story moved you, inspired you, or made you see the world a little differently, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because stories have power, and the right one, at the right moment, can change everything.